And we're live.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We'll do as we usually do. We'll be sharing the links to the live stream on our social media platforms, and we'll be starting in a minute or two. So please be a bit patient with us. Won't be too long.
Yeah,
Some
as
of us
usual.
are still recovering from the unending, I don't know how to describe it, the unending tidal wave of drama.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just sending it out.
Cool. Oh, Hady, did you figure out the Facebook comments by chance?
Yeah, I tried.
Maybe.
No, but it should work. That's
Okay.
I don't know why it's not working. It should
So
work.
weird.
I don't know. It's very weird.
It is
So
very
for people
weird.
that are listening to us on Facebook, guys, I don't know why we can't see your comments. So feel free to go on our YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, we'll see everything on YouTube. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
Oh
we're
my
not
God! Don't
able-
jinx it.
Yeah, for real.
Man, Eve.
I can't wait to hear.
Look.
That's gonna be good today, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be in Eve mood
Oh yeah, for sure.
the whole day,
Oh,
the whole episode.
Oh my God! One of my coworkers today. Oh my God! I was dying. One of my coworkers said, "I'm so grateful for your positivity." I was like, "Oh my
What?
God!"
Oh, wow.
I was like, "What? What?"
You're positive? Was he sick? I'm sure he had COVID
It was
or
a
something.
she.
Okay, she had COVID.
No, I don't know.
Maybe she said instead of Eve, she said I don't know Steve.
No.
Like
We
that.
we were just talking to each other like it was only her and I in the conversation.
I don't believe her, man. She was drunk or high.
I was it was like 10:45 this morning. Oh, it was a little early for that.
Note the date. Note the date.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
Eve
ready,
was
guys. Whenever
positive.
you are.
I'm born ready.
Yeah, I'm just sharing everything everywhere, and I
Hady,
think
people
we
are
can,
waiting for us, man. Let's go.
Really?
No, I'm
wish.
joking, man.
Yeah, so I
Bossy
should be
Sam,
ready in
damn.
the next few seconds. So I'm almost there, guys. Sorry about the wait.
No worries.
Yeah, so let's do this with the countdown.
Let's go. Hello, my friends. My name is Samuel Savy, and this week on the show, the men national team is on strike only 5 months before heading to Qatar. Mason Toy looks closer than ever to a return, and we dedicate part 2 of the episode to listeners' questions. That and a lot more in episode 85 of The Ball is Round. Yeah, so pretty self-explanatory, but part 2 will not have social media or one of the games we like to play, like choices or who said that. We received, I think it was 10 or 11 questions during the week,
10.
so we decided that we're going to answer them all today and dedicate the whole part 2 of the show to these questions. So thank you so much for everybody who hit us up with the questions during the week. It was super cool reading you.
Oh my gosh.
And having said that, I'm turning to my friends, Yves Paul and Hady Raphael. How's everyone today?
Let me refresh Twitter and I'll double check before I answer you.
It was a wild weekend, guys.
Yeah,
it
it
was
really was,
crazy,
I
man.
gotta say. Like, I did not expect any of that.
It was an Eve kind of weekend.
I think, no, honestly, I don't think I would have been quite as dramatic I think I would have just
Hmm.
It's the
been.
magic.
I would have like no. I
Do
would
we
have done
bet
some.
on that
No, thank you. I would have like worn some kind of passive aggressive T-shirt or something. I don't know, but yeah,
So,
it was.
so for anyone who doesn't understand what we're talking about, because maybe
They
someone doesn't know what happened this weekend, the Canadian men's national team was scheduled to play against first Iran. It was canceled. Then Panama, and they decided to pull out from the game. It was canceled because they were basically on strike regarding pay compensation. Guys, just before we get into the detail, and I have a timeline of all the incidents and stuff, just what is your general feeling on all this mess? I'll start with you, Hady.
Man, when everything feels right, when everything feels on track, when everything feels like it's going into the right direction, we're like something happens and
nice dumpster
it just
fire.
all goes to waste. It just all goes to waste. And I feel that somewhere sometimes I feel that I'm really doomed myself personally because you know I cover CF Montreal, so we all know how that happens.
A drama-free team, eh?
Then I cover Olympique de Marseille, and we all know how that
Yeah,
happens.
that's something.
And now, the first time around where I have the Canadian national team, doing something right, this happens. And let's not talk about the Lebanese national team because we're not going to go there. So, yeah, it's just, I think I'm branded that way. I don't know, man. I'm just, whatever. I think I should change nationality to just bring, doom on another national team than
Yeah, because
us.
maybe the drama is just following you, Hedy.
Exactly,
Bring it
man.
somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Eve,
Crazy.
what's your feelings?
It's weird because obviously I was kind of just as caught off guard. On Friday we kind of had some rumblings that not all was well because the players initially, that was like the first day that they refused to train, and sort of like the longer and longer that the silence went on, and I was that weirdo, checking everyone's Instagram and whatnot, and I was like, man, it's too quiet. I don't like this. Like, I really don't like when it's quiet like that. The calm before the storm.
Yeah.
So I was kind of uneasy the second, in my typical way, I was uneasy the second that there was a hint of trouble. I was like, oh no, it's going down. We're screwed. But hey, I was right.
Yeah, you were.
You're always right because at one point something's not gonna be good, right? So
Exactly.
you're always gonna be right? So
It just feels
But
good.
but basically this week everything that could have went wrong for the men national team went wrong because I have the timeline right here. So John Herdman dropped the list of the players he invited for this window on May 25th. On May 26th, the game versus Iran was canceled. We covered that in last week's episode when we had Alex Gangiruzic. He was very, very interesting on the matter, explaining what had happened and stuff. So you can check that out. On the 31st of May, it was announced that Canada would, instead of Iran, face Panama. So they had done something to make it right, On the 3rd of June, players refused to take the field to train amid reports of unrest regarding negotiation with Soccer Canada on compensation for the World Cup. On June 5th, there was a possibility in the morning that the game could be canceled, but I think we were still hopeful that it would happen. The players eventually released a statement explaining their frustration and highlighting their demands. We can put the statement on the screen for everyone who's listening to us live. It's a long statement, so if someone
It's
wants
in two
to,
parts.
so if someone is listening on podcast version,
Oh, and it's blurry.
yeah,
For
it's
those of
blurry.
you who
So
are
okay,
reading,
so
our apologies.
okay, so we have it on our Twitter page. I posted it, so you just have to go down a bit because it's been like a few days and a lot of drama, but you can find it there. Eventually, yesterday in the afternoon, it was confirmed that the game was canceled, and President Nick Bontis basically gifted us his presence at the press conference later that night. Hady, you were at the press conference. It didn't exactly go as planned, eh?
Hey, I'm trying to be as neutral as possible. It seemed like it seems like the president of Canada Soccer, Dr. Nick Bontis, and his right hand, Earl Cochrane, were here to. They were very apologetic, of course, because of the fact that the game was canceled and everything. But it felt like they were just saying, "It's not us. It's not us. It's
Yeah.
not us. It's
That's
not us,"
Yeah.
all the time, and you felt that the conference was in a panic mode
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
all the time,
Oh my
from the
God.
first seconds
Well, like,
until the end. You felt the panic in the voice
Oh.
of Dr. Nick Vantes, in the voice. Earl Cochrane was a bit more, calm, but Nick
Yeah, but-
Vantes was like
He was all
trying
over
to
the place.
justify
Body
that it's not
language.
his fault,
Yeah.
oh
Sorry,
my
Eve, go
God. No, I've never seen more telling body language in my life. And God, you guys have watched me roll my eyes 50 times here. I was shocked that this was okay. I'm gonna be straight and I'm gonna try to be diplomatic in my wording of it, but I would have said this man had never spoken in public, like to an audience in a difficult situation, because it seemed as though, like you said, Hady, it was so clear that he was very uncomfortable to be addressing the public, and obviously it was not a fun conversation that he was going to have, and I'm sure it's been a minute since he's had to speak to the public about a difficult situation when it comes to Canada Soccer. So It was probably like but God knows he must have done it at least once.
Yeah, but what's weird is that the press conference started, was postponed a couple of times. So first of all, it was announced like to the media maybe 45 minutes before it was supposed to happen, and it was postponed a couple of times. So again, we see some sort of, in my opinion, unprofessionalism.
I would say
If I can-
disorganization.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
I was trying to tone it down a bit, but yeah, if you want to eat, it was a bit disorganized, and right after, we're invited in. I don't know if it's only me or all the members of the media that were on Zoom, because obviously I'm not in British Columbia. We're invited into the press conference, and the statement of Nick Bontis has already started. So I arrived directly in the middle of the French opening statement.
Right.
At least we can give him that. He did a French opening statement, which is pretty nice, by the way.
Yeah, I learned a new word.
Gratitude.
Exactly. Now, the thing is, that's the only thing that was prepared. The opening statement. That's it.
Yeah.
and he started then to ramble, to just say whatever, and he said something that was kind of where I took him a bit for for someone that is the head of Canada Soccer. He said that we're disappointed with the decision of the players, which is really good. You have to say that. And we tried to work with them, and we wanted to have a discussion based on facts. And we have offered conditions that are similar to other teams, other national teams. This sentence here and this presentation makes sense. And it's just afterwards. The rest, that's the first 2-3 minutes. And then the rest, the last 20 minutes, it was nothing.
But one thing that Nick Bontis said was that the demands of the national team were untenable. Now I'm looking at the demands right here. They are in the team's statement, and that you can find on our Twitter page or probably.
I would say like the numbers. Nobody knows the exact numbers.
No, that was the speculative part because some people had advanced that it was 10-10. Some people had advanced that it was much more than that. We don't know, but the men national team asked for a few things. First one was transparency and a review of the Canadian soccer business agreement. The second was a leadership team that can optimize this moment and generate revenue from corporate sponsorship that should be used to drive the game forward at all levels for years to come. They ask for an equitable structure with our women's national team that shares the same player match fees, percentage of prize money earned at our respective FIFA World Cups, and the development of a women's domestic league. They ask for World Cup compensation that includes 40% of prize money and a comprehensive friends and family package for the 2022 FIFA World Cup. More former players from the men's, women's, and para team integrated into leadership position within Canada Soccer Board and organization. Now, guys, once these five demands are read out, what is untenable in these demands?
I mean, obviously, as far as the structure of the payout, like what percentage they want, it could certainly be that, like the percentage of the World Cup money going to the players. It could be they're asking too high of a percentage, perhaps. But I mean, we also know, based on Canada Soccer's statements and based on the job postings on it, Canada Soccer has put out and stuff, that the women's league development is something, I guess, what you would want to say in its very, 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 very early infancy stages. I kind of want to expand a little bit more on the equitable structure with the women's national team, because it was a little wonky to me, right?
And to everybody, I think.
Yeah. But maybe we can talk about that after, like, as a separate kind of part of the whole thing.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And then as far as a package for going to Qatar for friends and family, God, that's got to be expensive. According to everyone I know who's going to Qatar, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm basically gonna sell my kidney to have somewhere to stay. So that's probably not cheap to request. And but for me, like, as far as integrating former players, I don't see anything wrong with letting former players have a say in how the soccer's run and how it develops. Certainly, of course, from a business standpoint, you do want business mind there for sure, but I definitely don't see any loss.
Yeah, I'm looking at the demands to come back to your question. What is untenable? I don't think that much of that is untenable. It all depends, right? Because people have been, I've been looking through social media and stuff. People have been trying to, to read between the lines and go a bit too deep. Are you listening to us, Eve, or?
I'm so sorry, Hady.
Can you
all
hear
I could
us?
see, all I could see was you looking like you were thinking. I apologize. I must have lost you guys for a minute.
Yeah, you lost us for a minute. I was talking.
I'm so sorry,
It's
Hady.
okay. Don't worry.
Okay, I
Don't
sincerely
worry.
apologize. Hold on. I'm just going
Don't
to
worry.
mute myself because something must be up.
It's okay. Yeah, so I'm looking at this stuff, and I've been reading stuff, and people have been really looking a bit closer to the numbers and everything, and people saying, 40% of the prize money for the men, and then 40% for the women, and if it's gross, or is it net? If it's net, then they're asking for 160% of prize money. Okay, guys, do not read too much into that. I don't think the players had an accountant next to them and they just came up. I just think that they said, just give me 40% of whatever amount you're going to have, not 40% of 10 million, of the net of 10 millions and everything. I don't think they went that far in their research. Don't forget that I'm pretty sure that letter was drawn like maybe a couple of hours before they announced that they will not participate in the game. Now again, I don't know. I didn't have time to really reach out to my sources or to my contacts to know how it was made. But like I'm trying to read into this, and there's not much to read into it when it comes to the percentage of what they're asking. Now again, it's worded a bit poorly, the whole letter, right? Like, what do they mean by 40%? Do they mean 40%, like 20% for the men's national team, 20% to the women's national team? That's maybe the case. What do they mean exactly? Because you're looking at the American. We're going to talk about that a bit later. But we will see exactly what they mean. All they're saying is that prize money is not enough. How it's how it's done, it's not enough. So they put a number, and then it's all a negotiation process, right? Like, I'm pretty sure that if Canada Soccer comes up and say, you know what, we're giving you 30% and 30% of the gross amount, maybe they will accept it. But there's a negotiation that needs to happen. These are the demands that are that they have come up with right now. That's the first thing. The second thing that I need to say, I like the fact that they talked, even if it's again very poorly, about an equitable structure with our women's national team. It was very poor the way they did it, but at least I see equitable. I see that they're trying to get something that's kind of fair, even if it's very, very, very yes. Yes, Eve?
I'm like, hell no. I'm like, no, they want to keep all of their money, and it's not the same as equal pay.
Yeah, exactly, because they didn't word it the right way. But I feel that the intent was there, because they say an equitable structure with our women's national team that shares the same player match fees, percentage of prize money earned at our respective FIFA World Cup, and the development of a women's domestic league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like as far as the player fees and everything goes, but we understand that there's a wild discrepancy between the prize money of a women's World Cup versus a men's World Cup, like a wild astronomical difference.
The way I understand it, the way I understood it was the men's World Cup, you get, let's say, 10 million. You give 2 million to the women's national team, 2 million to the men's national team.
Okay.
And then the women's World Cup, you get 2 million. You give 200,000 to the men's national team, 200,000 to the women's national team. That's the way I understood it. Now, it's worded poorly.
Poorly enough that the women's team felt compelled to make their own statement.
Yes, exactly.
We'll come to that. Yeah, but exactly. But exactly, we don't know the intent behind it. What did they mean? Because it could be understood in a lot of different ways. And that's what
I took it in the especially after seeing that the women's team felt they had to make a statement. Then I actually, because I initially took it the way you did, Hady, but then once I saw the women's team come out with their statement, I said, "Oh, wait a minute."
You know why? Because the women's looked at that and were very intelligent, because they had time to really think about it and come up with a very thought of statement, of themselves. So that's the way to do it, right? I think that even the Canadian national team, the men's national team, went a bit too fast, maybe in the way they redacted the statement. That's my own opinion. Now, lastly, more former players from the men's, women's, and para team integrated into leadership positions. I completely agree with that. Now, Nick Bontes said, "Oh, we have one. We have an ex-player in our board of directors." It's true.
Ex-player.
Yeah,
Singular.
It's true. He's right. Is it enough? Does he have enough weight? Do we listen to him or her? I don't even know who it is, to be honest.
Because if you look at the former national team players that took social media and spoke about it. Oh, you saw Paul Pescisolido had a lot to say. Craig Forrest, even our friend Amy Walsh, she came on on Twitter and she tweeted something really funny on our stuff. So I was like asking people how do you react to Nick Bontis's
Press conference.
press conference, and Amy just put like a dumpster that was on fire. So and so
Oh,
there
and
was
just like a side note, if I may, Amy had
yeah,
a
go ahead.
really good interview on TSN 690 today about this.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
if you haven't heard it, I do recommend that you listen to it.
Yeah, and I just want to add one last thing, Sam, if you don't mind.
Never
Uh, I don't want to be. I'm gonna be as transparent as I can be. I have dealt with Canada soccer quite a few times, and there are very nice people there, very very nice people, and I'm not attacking them. Especially I'm not pointing them individually, but as an organization, it's so disorganized and it's so difficult to deal with that.
But it comes
Very,
back to
very difficult. And that's as a media.
yes, so
I'm the
imagine.
one that's selling their product. I'm the one that's giving visibility to their product. Now, I'm not a big shot. I don't work in the traditional media or anything. But even without naming names, journalists, we talk a lot. Even with the biggest medias that exists within Canada, within Quebec, I'm going to say, they have such a hard time getting what they want. They have such a hard time reaching them. They have such a hard time getting players, getting interviews, getting bringing visibility to that federation. It's just unbelievable. I feel that this organization is being controlled, is being organized by a local dépanneur. It's as simple as that.
But
It's
Alex,
just not normal.
Alex last week said it. We're getting a big time team, but we're still acting like a very small organization,
yeah.
and
I
that's
mean,
the proof again.
The budget that he mentioned of $25 million shocked me. I was like, it's 25 million? That's it? What? I don't know. Like, it just felt like such a dollar store budget.
Now, don't forget, these are the figures before the men's national team qualified to the World Cup. These are the figures maybe of 2020 or 2021. Okay, the end of 2021, where Canada, we didn't know if they were going to qualify. Don't forget that Canada, when's the last time they've been over the 85th rank in the FIFA ranking?
Well,
when's the last time we've been something interesting?
Well, when's the last time we qualified for the Octagon?
Exactly. So it's kind of normal for that budget to be very low. The thing is, since that generation came into fruition and started getting results and getting out there, we said it last week. I don't think there was a week where we didn't receive an email saying, "Oh, we signed a new corporate partnership with this and with that and with this and with that." So don't tell me that the budget's 25 millions now. And if it is 25 millions, I'm sorry, but you don't know how to do business. You have one of the I just read today, I think Quentin Parisis from Quebec Soccer tweeted something today saying that Alphonso Davies is the 46th most expensive player in the world now. 46th.
But and I think
in the world.
Yeah. But you know what I think part of the problem is as well now? Canada Soccer has more players playing at high level, at renowned clubs where things are run, very efficiently. Things are run the organization, and obviously club and national team structure is always going to be a bit different for sure. But when if we can ask the question, when has Canada ever had this many players playing top level soccer ever in the history? So I think now as well more players are aware of competently run teams. Who are well organized, who are prepared, who know how to negotiate. And certainly I think that does not play well into Canada Soccer's hands because they have a more educated group of players than they've ever had before.
Now, on the other hand, sorry, Sam, you didn't talk, but on the other hand, there's one last thing, and then I'll give you. I won't say anything. I'll shut up for the rest of the show.
Man. Go ahead.
No, on the other hand, don't forget that the prize money for the FIFA World Cup will only be received in 2023. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's not received now. Okay, mm-hmm. So it's something that will be received after because yes, it's 10 million for qualifying, and then it all depends where you go. You might get more. You might get, there's a lot of things that goes into that, and that's only FIFA prize money. Don't forget about all the sponsor, all the TV rights, all the there's going to be a lot of money that Canada is going to be able to go and get. So we'll know more then, but as of right now, I don't think that the demands of the players are unreasonable. As of right now,
on paper. Like no. without numbers, without understanding the actual budget required to run Canada Soccer currently and whatnot. I mean, like you said, it sounds like there could be some efficiencies maybe put in place. And yes, Holy Grail does raise a good point as well. Their budget probably would be larger if they had merchandise in stock because
just imagine how much money they would have made.
3 times to purchase jerseys, no less than 3. I wanted to give you $150 3 times. But no dice.
But where were the Borean pants? They would have sold so many. We talked about it. No, but listen, it's true. And when I look, Kaylin Kyle had a very interesting comment this morning on Twitter. She said as a benchmark for anyone who was wondering, the USA terms in their current negotiations are 45% for men, 45% for women, 10% for the federation. So probably they have a bit bigger budget than Soccer Canada, we can imagine, right? Mm-hmm. But just take these numbers and look how much the professional first team players are at the center of the structure of the budget compared to probably what was offered here in Canada. So don't you think these players know their counterparts, how much they play? There's Americans, there's Mexicans, there's Canadians, there's Hondurans, all playing in same clubs. They talk about this stuff. So when Soccer Canada come with their offer, and our Canadian players who play club football with all these foreigners who make different prize money, listen to what they make and listen to the offer. For sure they won't be happy with the first offer that's been thrown on the table, and I think it's understandable given how our team has reacted. So I mean, it's a huge mess, but the good thing, and we didn't touch it at all, and it's important to say, the team has started training again. Today they took the field. They put out a statement saying they will start training again, so that's looking good for the Curacao game. The only thing is that they stressed in their statement that it's not because they're close to a deal with Soccer Canada. It's just because they want to do the right things, and for them the right thing is to take the field once again, get going, and hopefully negotiations will pan out. The problem is now, Nick Bontis yesterday said that he's staying exactly at the same hotel as the men's national team just to be able to negotiate with them. And he's going to be there. His telephone is open. He's ready to do. He's no longer in Vancouver. He's back in Toronto already. Took a flight back home. So now where's the negotiations? Probably in someone else's hands. But if the president isn't there, what image does that give? I don't know.
I mean, obviously we don't know why he left. So he could have had a really intense family emergency or something like that come up. Yeah, so it is possible. So, I will try to give
Yeah, let's
some
give him the
benefit of the
benefit of the
doubt.
doubt. Yeah.
Because if he has any sense, or conversely, he's on his way back to the chopping block after that. I'm looking for a word.
Oh, it was a PR nightmare for me. It was a
Yeah,
catastrophe of a
yeah,
PR move for
yeah,
me. Really.
or he got summoned back by the ward. Could be option B. But yeah, I also probably wouldn't want to show my face much in Greater Vancouver if I didn't have to. Right now, if I were Nick Bontis. But since we don't know why he left, obviously we probably can't comment too much on it. Other than that, I'm sure he wouldn't have left if A, he was not extremely confident in the direction negotiations were going, or B, it was a super intense emergency that like it was non-negotiable, deathly situation, or C, he's been summoned back to be fired. Those are my three scenarios.
Hady, you have another scenario?
I think he got what he wanted. He got what he wanted because we're going to talk about it a bit later, but players are back in training, right? So why does he need to stay there?
Okay, did that statement give you like any confidence that it wasn't basically the equivalent of like work to rule?
Maybe, but at the end of the day, as a president, he got what he wanted. The players are back, right? I don't know.
I don't know because
this cannot be what you want. The vibe around the team right now is so negative. Like, I mean, we have just like gone polar opposites from March until now. It's just insane. I understand what you mean. Like, the players are now doing their jobs, but the PR, from a PR perspective, this cannot be what he wants.
But I still
hope
think
not.
but I still think that he knows, Soccer Canada, the administrators know that they do have still a lot of leverage on the players because of Qatar, or like Chan likes to say, Qatar, coming up, because it's the dream of every of these players, right, to go there. So they can't hold out forever. That's my point. So probably Nick Bontis knows that they're if they're back on the field training, okay, so the storm is past. Now we have to find a way to get them to sign the agreement. But this team is not gonna hold out forever. They're gonna fly to Qatar. They're gonna do what they dreamt of. Now at what price? I understand that they absolutely need to get it fixed, and they need better terms that probably was offered to them. But where are they gonna set the line and say, okay, we're ready to accept these terms? That's a question.
Yeah, and Chan is asking where's Qatar.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Nick Bontis said Qatar instead of
I
Qatar.
don't know why it's not Qatar for him. It's
very,
Qatar.
very weird. Guys, I just want to talk about. We talked a lot about the wrongdoings of Canada soccer. Do we touch a bit on the wrongdoings of the Canadian national team, the men's national team?
Yeah,
because we can't. Yes, okay. They have, I think they're not asking, unreasonable demands. But, not showing up for a game just a couple of hours before kickoff time, where a lot of people bought tickets and were there to see them.
And they actually bought tickets and rebought tickets.
Yeah, twice.
Exactly, twice. Yeah, exactly. So, because of Iran, and then, I've seen, a friend of mine, or, someone that I know from Twitter, Xavier Ouellet from the Hydropole on Twitter, that said that he drove all the way to where the game is played at. He woke up at 7:30 in the morning to get there. And, he comes back empty-handed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I don't know. What do you think about that, guys? How can we... Do we say, you know what, they're allowed because, they were wronged?
But they do have a very, very strong capital of sympathy
Mm-hmm.
around the country at the moment. So if they were gonna do something like this, it's now or never, And we've seen it a lot in Africa in the past. Teams that have held out. I remember a few national teams in Africa. They just didn't play games or didn't go training, and so it's not something that Canada invented.
Mm-hmm.
And but for the players, what if they really, really, really want to do a statement? What can they do more
Mm-hmm.
than that or different than that? That's the thing. But I was listening to it was if I'm not mistaken, it was Ian Hume talking about it, and he was explaining that probably that was decided like really, really on the go, close
Mm-hmm.
to kickoff, because none of these players, in his opinion, would have taken the plane to Vancouver knowing what was going up. So
Mm.
probably they scrambled, and it was it the right decision? Now it depends how you know
Mm-hmm.
pro players and anti administration or whatever you are, but for sure when
Well,
you do big statements like this, some people will be disappointed. That's a
I mean,
certainty.
obviously the one point where the administration and the team apparently are aligned is that basically the men's national team and Canada Soccer began negotiations right after they qualified back in March. And then there wasn't another opportunity for them to all come to the table and discuss in person until June. The players say it was because of the executives choosing to delay, and then the executives who we heard from yesterday kind of just said that it couldn't happen till June. So I feel like those conversations, those first conversations, for the first time in a bajillion years, must have gone really, 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 really poorly, like
That's a
extremely
possibility.
poorly, because they obviously had not had the chance to meet between March and just last week.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know who to believe. To be
That's the
honest,
thing.
I
The
really don't know who to believe.
the
It
truth is somewhere in
feels,
the middle. It's always
yeah,
somewhere in the middle, Hattie.
it's always somewhere in the middle. Like you said, I
Mm-hmm.
want to believe the men's national team, like the players, because I'm maybe biased, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's always in the middle. So there's some truth in that, but it's not all true. So I can't wait to see how it's gonna unfold. To be honest.
Yeah, guys, anything to add on all of this? The subject, no? So it's something that's in development right now. So for sure, we'll be watching it very, very closely, and hopefully, it resolves the right way, and Canada take the field to face Curacao, and put this behind us because
We don't need to do
it's
an emergency pod.
yeah, no, well, I like them, but it's always for something a bit crazy. So maybe we could skip it if we don't have to. So, guys, some quick news about Montreal. There wasn't much this week because for the players who are not international, they were given a few days off by Wilfred Nasi before getting right back to training. And some encouraging news came out of it as Mason Toya was seen training with the regular team. Um, I don't know, Addy. Maybe you know, but I don't know if he's cleared for contact yet during training. But he seems closer and closer to a full team return. That's very positive.
I didn't have the chance to go to training for a while now, for maybe a couple of weeks. So I don't really know if he's fit for contact. But he's surely not far from being close to contact to be okay with contact, because last time I went, he was already working individually and
Hmm.
on the sideline. So maybe not with the group. So usually when you start working alone, that means that you're a couple of weeks away from starting, to train with the group. So if he's not on the sheet on the 18 or the 20, I'm not sure how much they are anymore. We used to say the 18. I'm not sure if they're still the 18.
Yeah.
Uh, if it's the 18 player squad, but on the 18th of June, then it's gonna be in the next couple of weeks after that. So it's imminent.
Yeah, fantastic. Eve, I'll throw it to you. You have quick fire
Sure
national team that is
do.
mostly about the women this week, I think.
Entirely, to be specific.
Entirely. Let's go.
So, kicking things off with a bang is Nichelle Prince, who scored a hat trick in Houston Dash's 5-1 win over Orlando Pride, also featuring several Canadian players. Feel bad for them though, so won't name them. And that was actually the first hat trick in Houston Dash history. So
Nice.
Great job to Nichelle
Very
Prince, and I think Bev Priestman was super thrilled knowing that the match with South Korea is right around the corner. Of course, there are plenty of other goal scorers. We had Christine Sinclair netting a brace for the Thorns as they beat Vanessa Gilles' Angel City, and Janine Becky got an assist on one of Christine's goals, which is even better. Glad to see that Canadian connection. Evelyn Vienne also scored for Kristianstad, so she is doing really well, up among the top players, combined goals and assists. So she's also entering the international window in great form. And finally, Sabrina D'Angelo, maybe the de facto kind of second or third keeper right now. She kept a clean sheet for her club Vitsio in the Swedish league. So excellent for her as well to be finding form.
Amazing. Guys, we're ready for part 2, and it's a different one, like I said in the intro. We got all these really, really interesting questions from the listeners, so we'll shoot them out. And Hady?
Has an intro.
Oh, okay. Hady loves these intros, man.
He
Ah,
loves
yeah,
himself
for sure.
a graphic.
Nice,
He loves
nice. It's a graphic intro this time. Okay, cool. We start with our friend Tate Brooks' question.
It's coming.
Okay, so Tate asks us, if CF Montreal makes the playoffs, will Wilfred Nancy get a raise and a contract extension? Yes, most definitely.
A contract extension and a raise would go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And I think yes, if they make the playoffs, yes.
Hady?
I agree.
My God.
100%. I have nothing more to add. I always
Yeah.
talk a lot, so this time I didn't have anything more to add.
Short and sweet.
I think that's summed up Wilfred Nancy's tenure with Montreal. It really started on that 1-year deal, got an extension during a losing streak. We remember that. I think it was a 2 or 3 game losing streak.
Yeah.
Olivier Renard gave him his extension. Started poorly this year, we could say, and the team has been doing very, very well since. So I don't think the team necessarily needs to make the playoffs for Wilfred Nancy to get an extension and a raise, because the team is trending in the right direction. So that's what you want.
No, I think they
for your
do.
project. You
I
think they do?
because
So-
they just missed out last season. Just missed out. So if you just miss out this season, and I mean they still, and I also know that they did win the Canadian Championship, which definitely kind of put a silver
Yeah, that
lining
helped,
on it.
yeah.
But this year as well, you have to get past Toronto FC in the semifinal this year, which is might not be quite as challenging as normal.
Yeah,
No
it's a good
comment.
year to have them. Eh?
No comment. But nonetheless, it's shaping up to be a really challenging bracket, because should CF Montreal make the playoffs, or sorry, the next 2 rounds, both of them are going to be on the road, which is not advantageous, particularly if it's out to Vancouver in the West. Definitely not advantageous. So it's definitely a harder road to win the Canadian Championship this year for Montreal. And as a result, I think the playoffs have to be made in order to say that true progress has been achieved, whether or not they do win the Canadian Championship.
Okay, I think if we maybe miss out like we missed out last year with a good run in the Canadian Championship, but seeing how the team has progressed, I think Wilfred Nancy. I know it's a result-based sport, but I mean, I think he deserves it, even though I wouldn't have said that at the start of the year. But we'll see. That's the beauty of sports. You never know, and you're always guessing. And but definitely the past this current window until the end of the season will be very, very determining for him. But to answer directly Tate's question, because now we went into a whole other direction, for sure, 100%, if Wilfried Nancy makes the playoffs, he gets his raise, he gets his well-deserved extension, and the team moves on with him as a head coach. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Who's next?
Wayne Wilkinson.
Wayne.
Wayne Wilkinson, hashtag Slava Ukraini. He asks us, that's a really cool question. He says, discuss what the club needs to do to fill Stade Saputo. Here's an idea. Invite Nacho back for a proper ceremonial send-off. He never got the recognition he deserved. Resolve the issues with the Ultras so the house is full for Nacho. Even better, set it up for the TFC match.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I would die. Okay, I would literally, my soul would leave my body to have Nacho back at Stade Saputo. Just to be clear, I really like Wayne's idea. I'm not gonna lie. I love Wayne's idea. To bring Nacho back and give him a proper send off because, you know, he left obviously mid-pandemic and he kind of dodged a bullet, you know, as far as the team being stuck in the States for so long and stuff. But I think bringing him back would definitely as well, again, do one of those positive nods to history, that the team is looking so hard to you know, reintegrate those impact aspects into the actual functioning of the club. So for me, yeah, I'm all for it.
Hady.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm always for Nacho.
We always talk about, you know, jubilé. That's usually how it's called in French. Jubilé. It's a way.
Oh, the testimonial.
It's testimonial. So it's a way of honoring a player's career at a club, and it's usually the club. Usually, either the player that contacts the club and say, you know what, I want to do my testimonial, you know, in at the stadium, or the other way around, and that could be very interesting to maybe bring back, you know, that team of CF Montreal or Montreal Impact back then with, you know, the Donadels, the Bernadellos, the Rio Cockers, and
Andres
maybe,
Romero.
Wow.
You know, we can talk about them all, Matteo Ferrari.
I
you
know.
all of them. Jeff Brodsky, man, please, Jeff Brodsky.
Jeff Brodsky.
Justin Mapp.
Yeah, of course.
Justin Mapp, of course, that we had here as a guest. So that could be really, really nice. But at the same time, I really like the idea to get TFC. So maybe the great TFC with Jovinko, which is the Altidore, with Michael Bradley. And that could be nice as a jubilé to see those two teams, you know, even if they're older, to really, you know, get at each other again. You know, Benoit Chéroux and, you know, all those players.
I hate them so much. I don't want to see them.
But, you know, it would be really, really really nice send off.
It would
a really nice
distract from my love. No, it would distract from my love for Nacho. It really would. I would just because I would be compelled to express my sentiments of, you know, just
you always express your sentiments.
And I'm telling you, if you bring back Jemaili for this game and he has to play against Bradley, they're gonna fight like they always used to do. So don't do this, man.
Jemaili is not gonna be here. He just played like 4 or 5 months with Montreal, so forget it. But you know, you can maybe make that a very big event. Maybe not. Why not? Why just bring back Nacho? You bring back Marco Di Vaio and all the great players that played for us.
Oh my God! Just legends.
Why not Alessandro
legends.
Nesta? Why not Alessandro Nesta? You know, all the players that have made Montreal Impact and CF Montreal in MLS could have that game as a way to express themselves, as to brand that club again.
Yeah. I feel like probably, I don't know if Wayne was kind of leaning toward a testimonial. I think Wayne might have just been suggesting like some sort of like, you know, handing him over like a framed jersey type thing or what have you. You know, one of those like,
I don't know what
he
so wants.
No, I don't know either. But no, the testimonial. Have we had a testimonial in Montreal?
I don't recall any. I think Nacho could be like,
he'd be a candidate
for the first ever.
We didn't have one for Patrice Bernier, man.
It's ridiculous, man.
Like that's not normal, man.
But
that's
guys,
not normal.
He was so busy getting to work with the academy and then you know into his TV career. So
but
he was so busy.
Nacho left a bit how he came. He arrived a bit unknown. I always felt that he had that a bit of a mystery vibe around him. He was very low profile. Didn't see him
Mm-hmm.
anywhere in public, and he just left. And I remember that game against New York Red Bull when he was subbed off by Wilmer Cabrera, like 2-3 minutes before the end of the game. I
Nobody
was
knew
I
like what to do.
I was like, yeah, I think it's over, man. The stadium chanted his name. We gave him a big ovation, and I
I
remember at the
cried.
bench, of course, I was almost there, and
Oh,
he
I
was
sobbed
hugging
openly. I
Patrice
had you.
Bernier. So we had the feeling that it was the end, but we never gave him the proper
No.
standoff that he deserved for his amazing Montreal career he had. So, I mean, I'm 100% with Wayne's idea.
Yeah.
Fantastic idea, Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out, man.
Yeah, and also, to touch on Wayne's other points as well, he mentioned, of course, reconciling with the Ultras, who, are definitely an integral part of the Stade Saputo atmosphere. Obviously talks have occurred between the team and the Ultras. We know that from both sides have, indicated that. So just fingers crossed they continue and they move in a positive direction.
Next
That was so
question.
nice. Yeah, who's up?
Simple guy.
Simple guy.
Yeah,
Sure.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So Simple Guy asks us, what is the injury status on Bjorn Janssen? Is he close? Is he far? Is he dead? Do we need him? Do we care? Well, that's a lot of
So,
questions in one.
so he's no longer wearing a walking boot.
I'm not sure. Is he talking about Johnson, like
No,
En, or
I think he.
Johnston, and he
No,
missed
no,
the
Janssen.
T?
No, Alistair Johnston is fine. He's with the national team.
I
And
know, I don't know,
no,
because
and he precised in his other tweet after
oh,
that
okay.
that it was Bjorn. Yeah.
But you know what? What's really nice about the status of Bjorn Johnson is that you're not expecting anything anymore.
Nope.
So, he should use that. Because right now, nobody's expecting anything from him. So he can play without any kind of pressure.
Well, if he does
Yeah.
play,
You know what? Think about it. If you have Mason Toy coming back, Johnson coming back, Kamara and Kyoto are not going to be able to take this position until the end of the year, alone. They're going to
but
need.
you have Sanusi who just scored a hat trick against Forge.
Yeah,
too, right?
but Sanusi, don't forget they will play in a 3-4-3.
Yeah, no,
Sanusi
you're
can
right.
play on the right, can play on the left,
True.
can play up front. He can play at all three
Vice
positions.
versa.
Johnson, he can only play up front, right?
Mhm.
So
Oh,
he
yeah.
can't play on the wing, right?
No.
So, and Toy can play in the three positions too, mostly on the left hand side or up front. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see him on the left more than a lot of
Yeah,
times. So
I'd agree.
so there is, with the rotation, with games coming pretty fast, with sometimes a lot of 3 games within the same week. He comes in, he scores a goal, and he comes in a couple of times, scores another goal, and then gets a start and scores a goal. And he can change his fortunes all the way back. Now, I believe in it? I really don't. But if it's time for him to step up, it's now. And if he is gonna step up one day, it's gonna be now, because he has no pressure whatsoever.
He has nothing to
It's as simple as
lose.
that. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
my
I
question.
agree, but at the end of the day, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say quickly, Yves, that his comments on Wilfred Nasi, we'll bring them back, because I think that's important in the story. He basically said once, when he was asked about Wilfred Nasi, he said that Nasi had made him a better person, but not a better player. I don't think that will encourage Wilfred Nasi to play him too much. So even if he is fit, if he is ready, just look at where he is in the pecking order of the strikers. For what reason will Wilfred Nasi turn and think that, turn to his bench and say, I need this guy? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's funny.
No,
It's funny,
that's a
and
good
I'm pretty sure Robbie is gonna come out of the woods in the next couple of minutes and tell me and tell me, hey man, what about Wilfred Nancy's doghouse? Is he
Yeah.
in the doghouse, right? He might be in the doghouse, Robbie. He
Yeah,
might be in the
I think
doghouse.
he is. Yeah. Sorry, Eve.
Yeah.
You were gonna say. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I think my answer is at the end of the day, we don't care. I don't mean that. I mean that in a Montreal results way.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in like a human way. I mean that in a as far as Montreal's need, because Ramel Kyoto's been good. Kai Kamara has, I think, definitely surpassed expectations. And as well with Mason Toy coming back, with Sinusi having just gotten his hat trick. For me, like, the depth is good. And Bjorn Johnson, in my opinion, is at the bottom of that list right now. Whether it's due to his injury or whether it's because of his form last year. So from a Montreal performance standpoint, we don't care. From a human standpoint, I think I'd like to see him do a little better than last year.
Now I've seen him with his wife and his kids, passing by in front of the press box. So
Yeah.
he seems to still be involved, like in and around the team. Sometimes players when they're injured, they just try to make themselves a bit small, and they don't really appear in the public. But he was like right in front of me, so I don't know what it means, but I feel that he still wants to prove himself here. So
Well, he's not retirement age as far as a player goes.
oh
I
no,
think
he's
he
what,
should-
31 now?
Yeah, he should have footballs left in him, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
Cool.
and I don't know if he saved enough to properly retire and
Yeah.
choose an after football career. If it, so I think he has to be. I think he has to be very professional.
He's 30, by the way.
30,
He's
so
not
yes.
31. He's 30. He's going to be 31 in November. So
A lot
When's
of
his
good
birthday?
news.
November. Oh no,
yeah, he's a Scorpio like you.
he's not for it. Don't tell me he's born on the 15th. I'll die.
No, it's the 6th.
Okay, I'm safe. I'm safe.
But Ta had a question that is a bit
right here.
in relation with the
Give me
simple
a
guys question.
minute.
So, Ta asks us, is Kamara our Milan's Ibrahimovic? That's interesting because he
Quite-
seems ageless, Kamara.
Really?
Well, man. Oh,
no,
yeah.
no. He's 40. It's not that.
And Kamara
Yes.
is
37.
37 still. Look at how in shape he is and how good he still is. That's my point, But I know,
Thankfully, he doesn't have the ego of a Zlatan. So I don't think the world would remain like on its axis if that were the case.
I don't know if you guys saw the speech of Zlatan when they won
Oh
the
yes,
Scudetto.
amazing.
In the locker room, we all talk about the arrogance of Zlatan, but in the locker room, he's someone that's very important. A lot of players that he played with, hold him in the highest regards. So he's a very good teammate to be around. But Zlatan is no Kai Kamara. Kai Kamara, he's just someone that you want to give a hug to, right? So you want to be his friend. You want to be respected by him. You want him to be happy. You want him, like, you want everything the best for him, right? So I see the analogy between Ibrahimovic and Kamara, but not the same kind of player. But if you're looking at the profile, being an older player with a lot of experience and being still able to convert chances and be a big part of the team, yes, it is comparable. It is comparable as the importance of those players within their squad. Yes, it is comparable. But I don't think that Kamara could be as good as Ibrahimovic in Serie A at Milan winning the Scudetto.
No.
But yeah, I see the analogy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and for a young team that you're trying to build, and I've said it on a few of these pods. When you're building a young team and you have a project like Olivier Renard has, you need some very, very good veteran players around them, and I think Kai Kamara fits exactly in that mold, in that project, along with Victor Wanyama, along with even Sam Piet, who's a veteran now, even though he's still very young, and to for these young players who have doubts, who have problems going, to lean on and look at them and take examples. So yeah, amazing player to have in Montreal. We'll move on to Amin Sabri's question.
All right.
Hey, I mean,
Our friend Amin asks us why players like Zouir, Quizera, Pantemis, and Toy didn't get any minutes with the under-23s in the first games of PLSQ, despite their lack of playing time. Only pro who got some minutes is Ketterer in the last game, and I'll just precise, Ketterer played one game, 90 minutes only, with the reserve squad in PLSQ. So, Hady, you had a bit of an answer to that.
yeah, I don't have like a definite answer, like as an official answer for you. I mean, but I do have a kind of answer for you. From what I understood, even if it's not official, from what I understood from the agreement between the PLSQ and the U23 and CF Montreal, and the reason why it took so long before announcing that CF Montreal U23 is going to join the PLSQ is because CF Montreal wanted their U23 teams to be able to have some pro players in their on the team, on the roster when they play against PLSQ teams. So from what I understood, it is an agreement that they have between the CF Montreal and the PLSQ. So it is something that's possible now, and we've seen, I think, one of the first games. I'm not sure if it was still a friendly or not, but I know that there was Rida that played about 90 minutes. I think the last friendly game, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was, the friendly. You're correct.
It was a friendly. Okay,
yeah,
but Rida played 90 minutes. Robert Torkelson played 60 minutes. Quizera played 60 minutes. So there is a plan for them. But don't forget, guys, PLSQ is not an easy league to play in.
It's very physical.
Oh, yes.
It's very, very physical because it's grown-ups, like really veterans, players that have been playing for maybe 10, 15 years, that they have second jobs and everything, but when they tackle, man, they come at you.
Oh, yeah.
So, and of course they're not as talented as our pro players. So, a tackle with the studs up, coming into, a recovering Mason Toy in the PLSQ on a field that's not 100%, that's not really, clean, or I don't know how you want to say it. I don't know. It's the best idea for someone that's
an agricultural challenge. An agricultural challenge.
So imagine if one day you open Twitter and you see a statement from Montreal saying Mason Toy is out for a month because he injured himself with playing PLSQ. Oh no, I don't think it's it's because Amin asked for four players.
That's specific though. Yeah, because the other players who aren't seeing playing time, I think it is a valid question.
Yeah, so I think for Pantemis, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Same thing for Mason Toy. Pantemis is the backup goalie, so he's on the bench when Sébastien Breza is on the field. Now, Ketterer, I understand why he went. That's okay. Mason Toy, there's no point sending him there. Now, Rida Zouir and Georgia Quizera might be a bit of a different case. But Rida Zouir was, started the first game in the 11. I think he's very, very close to playing more and more minutes with the club. So I don't see him going down to PLSQ. I don't see any upside going there, anyways. So maybe for Georgia Quizera, that could be a question.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only player I'd see maybe an upside going to PLSQ.
But even Quizera, he played a few minutes with against Forge, if I'm not mistaken.
He did play against Forge, and he also had a very couple of minutes at the bitter end of the match.
Cincinnati?
I thought it was the Orlando match. I think it was Orlando, because Montreal was winning really comfortably.
Yeah. So he's pretty close also to the first team. I don't know. I think that's not. I don't think that it's the agreement that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
let CF Montreal play those players. I just think that it's the how Wilfred Nancy and the whole staff with of course Patrick Leduc and Nicolas Gagnon, the coach of the U23, you know, organize their squad and their players and the playing time of their players. I don't think it's because if it's a rule of the PLSQ. I would be very surprised if it is.
Interesting. And we have the last question for on this segment of Montreal questions from Mathieu Lemay, and it's in the same vein. It touches the
Matt Lemay.
PLSQ. Matt
Okay.
Lemay, yes. He asks us, how do you explain the success of CS Saint Laurent in its first year in PLSQ so far? Um, so I played with and against some guys in PLSQ now. So I went to check their roster and I said I'm sure I know maybe a coach, maybe man, I don't know anyone in that team. So now it made me wonder, like, wow, what's up with that team? Because if they had like a few ballers in there, I would say, but this guy's so good. But I don't know them.
Mm-hmm.
What I know is that when it was university time, a lot of guys moved to Montreal. A lot of very talented guys moved to Montreal to study, and so they played with Université de Montréal, they played with UQAM, they played with McGill. And they had very strong programs, particularly Université de Montréal. And if you look at Blainville, one of their very, very good players in the recent years is Nafi Dico Reno. He's a guy from Gatineau who moved to Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
So my feeling, and it's 100% speculative because I don't know the players, is that Montreal is a hotbed for these players, and probably they were able to boost their teams with some very good players coming from uh, other parts, maybe come to work with Montreal and settle here and play a PLSQ level. Maybe they came to study and stayed in Montreal once they had an apartment, they found a job here and stuff. So I always fancy Montreal teams to be very competitive in leagues like PLSQ. And now the other question is always compensation, because in my years there was no PLSQ, but there was something a bit similar to a senior triple A, which had a very, very good caliber. And some teams had some interesting incentives to play for them, while others didn't didn't really have. So is Saint Laurent attracting their some players with incentives? I don't know, but that might be one reason. And there's always the side of they're probably very well coached and very serious in their in their work too. So
And
it's
I mean,
about how
they've
I can.
existed. It's not a brand new team. They've been around for 40 years when it
Oh
comes to
yeah.
developing players. So it's not as though they just shot up out of the ground and were magically good. CS and Laurent has been developing players. Whether they went into the PLSQ before Saint Laurent was there, whether they went into university programs, whether they went, onwards and upwards, as we saw with Ismail Kone as a very recent example. So it's already a strong organization when it comes to developing players at the grassroots level, which for me, if you can do your grassroots well, that bodes really well for your upper levels because it means your organization is strong.
Yeah, and I want to add one last thing. When you talk about CS Saint Laurent, they they had a plan to join PLSQ 5 years ago.
A
Mm.
5-year plan.
It was a 5 year plan, exactly. So they had time. They delayed everything, yes, because of the pandemic, but not only. They were trying to have the best players possible when they enter the league. So they did do a lot of scouting in and around, the Quebec region to get, those players to make sure that they have the best available players to come, within the PLSQ and be as strong as possible. and we've seen that it's a team that's not here to play, right? So, are they going to be, rivals to CSMRO, so c'est Club Sportif Montréal Outremont and Blainville, who are usually the top two teams in the PLSQ? It seems like it. I didn't check the standings as it is right now. I don't know if you did, Sam.
Yeah, and Saint Laurent. Saint Laurent
They
gave up one
conceded
goal all
one
year.
goal.
One goal.
Exactly.
CSMRO is having a tough start of the season. I think they're
Yeah.
sixth in the table, but
No, they're 10th now.
10th.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah.
So
I think they're 10th,
yeah, but
so.
it's really all Saint Laurent this year so far, and I think they have 15 goals scored and one conceded. Very very strong.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's interesting. I hope it answers your question, Mathieu. I know it's your club, so good on them. They're doing very very well.
Yeah, just to they're ninth CSMRO. So yeah, Saint Laurent is first. FC Laval is second, and Blainville is third right now with Longueuil. But guys, only 5 games played.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
very,
early.
very, very, very early in the season.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll move on to our good friend of the show, Robbie Tiranardi. He asked us a question on the 2024 CONCACAF Champions League. He says, I'm not sure if you're going to touch it anyways, but can you go over the new rules for Champions League?
Go do it now. And I got the graphic for you.
It's blurry.
It's blurry. Oh my god, what is wrong with me and saving pictures? I'm really sorry, everybody. For those of you wondering, that's the picture of the CPL League, followed by Liga MX, followed by MLS, followed by the Canadian Championship, followed by, I'm so sorry, I forget what, and followed by the US Open Cup. And just let me find out what the picture is in between.
But it's okay because I'll break it down. So I guess your question, Robbie, was the qualifying process and how could up to 5 Canadian teams qualify for one given year of the competition. So straight into the round of 16 are the MLS champions and the Leagues Cup champions. The Leagues Cup is played between Mexican, US, and Canadian clubs. Straight to the round of 32 is the MLS Supporter Shield winner, the MLS Conference regular season champions, the 2 next best clubs in Supporter Shield standings. And for Canada alone, we have the CPL champion, we have the CPL regular season winner, and the Canadian Championship champions. Plus, the League Cup runners-up and League Cup third-place team get a berth in the round of 32. It's a full-on knockout competition played on 2 legs, except for the final, which will be a single game. So that's about it for what we know.
It's so weird.
And you can qualify through MLS too, right?
Yeah, and it's the first time Canadian
Yeah.
teams can qualify through MLS because now, as it stands, if let's say Montreal wins MLS, they won't qualify to the Champions League unless they win the Canadian Championship also. The place will go to an American team if we win MLS. This is crazy, but now it's changing for 2024, so that's good.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
Yeah, finally.
I'm still trying to find out what that picture is in between.
I think it's the Leagues Cup.
I think you're right. I think you're right, but like I'm desperate to confirm it. So I've been trying to find the freaking graphic in a high quality image because it's also blurry on my own computer, which is probably a sign that my computer is made for garbage. If you start by price low to high, everybody, you will suffer for it. I recommend doing what I did. Do as I say, not as I did.
Who's the next person asking questions?
Yes. Well, I furiously consult Google. So, Hady, can you pop the question up? It is the Leagues Cup. It is the Leagues Cup. We're good to go. Okay, I feel much better now.
Anecdote septilienne. It's our friend.
I know who that is.
Alain, who changes his name often these days. He asks us 2 cool questions. In what Quebec City's suburbs would a CPL team work best? Eventually, how many CPL teams will exist here in La Belle Province? And second question, what would need to happen for CF Montreal to field a professional women's team? So we'll go with the first question first, and we'll jump to the second. Um, guys, any ideas? Where
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
hit me?
There's two cities, or two cities that come to my mind, and
Mhm.
I talked about this quite a few times with CS Alera back then when the podcast was still on. Uh, First of all, if it's not Montreal or the Montreal region, it has to be in and around Montreal, maybe Laval, Longueuil, somewhere that's not far from Montreal, in the suburbs of Montreal, in Montreal itself. So that I think is a must. And the second city is Quebec City. It's as simple as that, because Quebec City doesn't have you know a sports team anymore, like a
Mhm.
professional sports team. You do have, the LHJMQ
Yeah,
in hockey. Sorry, I'm really bad with
Oh
that.
no, I only know it in
QMGHL,
English, so no worries.
QMGHL.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you. That's all. That's the only way I know how to
okay,
say it.
sorry, LHJMQ. So yeah, that's the only thing they have there, and it's time for them to have a professional sports team in
Again.
Quebec City. I think that's all they want. That's all they need. And I know that a lot of teams, a lot of players, a lot of young people play soccer in Quebec City. So I think that will be a very, very nice thing to for the Canadian Premier League, and for the sports altogether, and for Quebec City. So
Okay.
it's a win-win-win
Yeah.
situation.
Like, I would rather Francois Legault promise to change the committee to bring CPL to Quebec City rather than bring back the Nordiques. Um, and he could even save his $500. Don't send me $500 if you get elected. If Francois Legault were to get behind CPL to Quebec City.
Oh, dreaming.
So watch out. I also agree. And that's as political as I will get, just to be clear.
Yeah. Yes, I don't know if you remember a few years, at least 15 years ago, there was Les Comètes de Laval, the
Mm-hmm.
professional
Mm-hmm.
women's team in Laval, and they drew some crowd, and there was some buzz around that team, and I'm sure that if you do bring a team in Laval, like you said, Addy, it could definitely work. And so suburbs Montreal, even on the South Shore, if you look at maybe Brossard, you look at Longueuil, or
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why it wouldn't work, honestly. And given how CPL is growing right now, it's
Yeah,
and
and
Quebec for me is 100%, 100%
Yeah,
ready.
I love
definitely.
that you talked about Comet de Laval. I'm pretty sure Amy Walsh would be very happy to hear that.
Yeah,
She
she
was a
played for them,
former.
eh?
She played for them,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So yeah. And the second question for CF Montreal to have a women's professional team.
yeah.
Uh,
It takes
Joey
a
wins
league,
the
no?
lottery.
uh, for me, it's a must. It is a must. If we do have a Canadian Premier League for women, um, CF Montreal has to have a team.
Well,
I think, and they have to be proactive. They can't
oh,
Oh
be
yeah, for
like
sure.
they can't be like, oh crap, Toronto did one, and Vancouver's already been offering women's and girls soccer for some time
Yeah.
now. And so they can't be like, oh, like 3 years down the road. Oh well, they've been doing it now for 3 years. Yeah, I think we'll get involved. They have to be proactive about it. They have to be like at the forefront and show that they are kind of pioneers. So I think it takes really remaining on top of the development of the domestic league situation, being really prepared for that to happen. I won't go so far as to say at a moment's notice, given the way things have gone down the past weekend. But I think they need to be, since last we heard, obviously, it was Kevin Gilmore on the topic, and it was pretty much like, no. I think they need to start thinking about that, not as an if, but a when. And start, saving their pennies for that rainy day.
Oh, I don't even
Sunny
want
day, as a
to.
matter of fact.
I don't even want to say when. It needs to start now. Like right
Oh,
now,
no, no, no,
the
no.
6th of June. Like
Oh,
it
yeah.
has to start. Like we're 5 years late.
But there needs to have a league, right? If we're going to have a team, that's the
No,
thing.
you need to first of all have girls at the academy. That would
Yep.
be a good start. You
Yeah,
know,
you're right. We don't even have that. You're
we don't
right.
even have a
My
girls team.
gosh.
You're right.
Like that's not normal.
No, it's not.
That's just
No, no,
not
okay.
normal.
I retract my proactive statement because we're behind.
We're like I'm really surprised that if this is where you can be pessimistic.
Excellent.
Yes, it's a lot
All
now.
right.
You had the
Okay.
opportunity to showcase your pessimism.
Excellent. No, you're very right, Hattie. You're extremely right. That Montreal is once again behind the ball when it comes to women's and girls. And I mean, there has never been the appetite, knowing that the success of the national team lately. And I mean, they drew over 10,000 people on the one of the crappiest weather nights I have attended a soccer match.
Okay.
At Tuesday night against New Zealand, who's not the sexiest opponent in the world, certainly. And I'm like, come on, sense the vibe, sense the room. No, you're very right, Hattie, that why are girls why not?
I don't know. Who knows?
It needs to be fixed and right away. So instead of trying to understand
Yeah.
why we're not filling up the stadium and stuff. I like the speech of Gabriel Gervais saying that they want to come back to giving back to the community. If you really want to give back to the community, it starts with a women's team at your academy, and then it continues with maybe a team in PLSQ women for now until
Yeah.
we are able to have a professional team, and then if we do have a professional league in the country, I'll be very, very mad if CF Montreal doesn't have a team.
I
Very, very mad.
I would roll over and die. I would need a new liver. I would, yeah.
You already need your liver. It doesn't.
No. The doctor only yelled at me about my blood pressure, not my liver.
Guys, last but not least, Chan had a question for us. And Chan asks us, after watching the great form from Kevin De Bruyne, Courtois, Modric, and Perisic recently, are you guys still hopeful for the Canadian men national team in Coupe du Monde?
Oh my god!
I think
their clubs, I wanted to roll
Yeah,
over
but
and
wait.
die once again.
there's something I'm not too sure about Chan's question, because he said, "Are you still optimistic?" I think we didn't sound too optimistic when we previewed our group in that episode we made. I think I previewed I'd be happy with 2 points, like a draw against Croatia, a draw against Morocco. I think Eve, you said 1 point would be good. So I think we're standing about the same place as we did even before seeing them play with their clubs.
Well,
right?
I mean, they got spanked by the Netherlands, in Nations League. Obviously, I know definitely at least Kevin De Bruyne came out and was basically like Nations League is a load of glorified friendlies and was not very
is.
thrilled to be there.
It is.
After a pretty grueling season with Man City in particular. But oh no! I fully expect Canada to get their ass handed to them by Belgium. Like, I am ready for that to happen. I'm steeling myself on the inside.
Yeah, but we're expecting that, right? So like
Yeah.
it would not be a surprise to lose
Yeah.
against Belgium. And the thing is, let's try not to lose too heavily. And if you lose 2-0, 3-0, it's not the end of the world, right?
No, let's be dignified about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Now Croatia. Yes, it's a good team. And you know what? I'm someone that's Chan. You should know that one of the players of Croatia is a Marseille player, and in central defense, and it's Dujic Tatsar that is very good, but sometimes has some lapse in concentration, and we've seen it in the semifinals of the Europa Conference League, where he gifted the ball to the Feyenoord player. So it's very possible Luka Modric is what, it's going to be 37 if I'm not mistaken, if not
Mm-hmm.
38, 37. I don't remember how old is he, but he's very old. So where
Hady,
is he
he's
going to
younger
play?
than
Is he?
you.
Sorry.
He's younger than you.
No, but he's okay. He's 36, 37 on the 9th of September, so he's going to be
Mm-hmm.
37 during the World Cup. He's amazing. He's one of the best players I've ever seen play. I completely agree. But don't forget, the World Cup is being played in November. And usually in the big clubs, if he stays in Real Madrid, uh, in the big clubs, usually the big clubs have a hard time starting seasons because the preparation is very, very tough on the players. So there's always a very slow starts in the big club.
Mm-hmm.
So being his age, having a slow start, the World Cup being in November, you're not gonna be you're not gonna find a Luka Modric at 100% during the World Cup, and that's if he plays. If he is 100% to play that game. So, am I worried? No, because either way, Canada is supposed to finish third or fourth in this group. Like, I don't think, like Sam said, we were over optimistic.
I'm happy to
But
score a goal. That's an improvement.
we need
Yeah.
to score a goal or get a
No, we
point.
will. We
That's
will.
all I
Mm-hmm.
want. We want to
No, we
score a
will.
goal and get a point. That's all. That's I think the sane objective to have.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they do finish in the second in this group, are we going to be super surprised? I don't think so either, because there is this possibility. If they finish first in the group, yes,
Yeah.
I'll be super surprised.
I
So yeah, we'll see.
You know,
yeah.
because people have been looking a lot into the recent results of Belgium, of Croatia, and of Morocco. You know, Morocco lost against the US 3-0, and Croatia and Belgium lost 4-1 each, if I'm not mistaken, in their recent games. But don't forget, most of these players have come up of grueling seasons in Europe where they played maybe 50 to 60 games. And if they're not physically drained, they're most definitely mentally drained. So give a break, give a vacation to these players, and give Courtois, give De Bruyne, give all these guys vacations and some, to regain fitness and probably heal some, some injuries here and there. Oh, I don't think we're in so much of a good position, Canada. So we shouldn't look into it too much of
Mm-hmm.
all that's happened recently. But no, nothing has changed for me. I'm at the same place that I was when the groups were decided. And best case scenario for me is 2 points. But I hope I'm wrong and we're really, really positively surprised.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Chan. Guys, I think that's it for us.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. That was a short one.
Yeah.
Was I don't know. I'm not quite fully recovered.
Nobody is. Nobody is. So yeah, thanks a lot to everybody for their questions.
Yeah, I
It was
really liked
nice of
them.
them.
They were
Yeah.
really cool. Like there was like a little bit of everything from those questions. I really
hope
liked
we
it.
can have another episode like that with all these questions. So, guys, listeners, everyone, just feel free. We always love to hear from you guys.
Mhm.
And I hope that we'll get maybe a question on the Canadian women's national team at one point, because we didn't have. That's something that we didn't touch
Yeah.
During those questions. But
No.
yeah,
No, we did
So,
touch at least women's football in general.
exactly.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah, but no, for sure. And also, again, equal pay. Equal pay.
Equal pay. I agree. I agree.
So, Eve, Hedy, thank you so much. It was fun spending the night with you, talking everything, mostly Canada tonight, but touched a bit of Montreal too. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to everyone who listened and who sent questions during the week. It was amazing, as usual, to interact with you guys. And until next week, Sunday 6:30, we're supposed, guys. Sunday 6:30, eh?
Yeah.
I gotta double check because what time is the second Nations League game?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm checking right
Okay,
now. So it's Monday, the second one. So yeah, we can go on Sunday.
Okay,
Okay,
so Sunday,
perfect.
6:30, guys, we'll be there for another episode of The Ball is Round. And until then, have a great week, be safe, and we'll see you in 1 week. See ya.
Bye, everybody.